Let's talk about the top 5 reasons why I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, coming from the Chicago suburbs. These reasons are based on my personal experience. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll give you a summary of how my last 1.5 years has been in the Charlotte area. And for reference, my name is Justin Yingst. I am a real estate agent here in the Charlotte area, so I've had a lot of time to really explore the city and the surrounding areas. I'm 29 years old and I moved to the Charlotte area back in the summer of 2022 with my fiance and our dog. My fiance is actually an elementary teacher, so schools were important, and she actually works in the CMS district. Now, when we moved down here, we did not know anyone in the area, but we wanted to make a life change. That's why we came down here. So now that you have my backstory, let's jump into reason number 1. Reason number 1 is definitely going to be weather. Coming from Chicago, we only had a few good months of weather in the summer. And on our search for a new city, we were looking for a city that has a good balance year-round, and that's exactly where Charlotte is great. We hardly ever get snow in Charlotte, and if we do, it's only 1 to 2 days a year, and from what I've heard, the entire city shuts down because infrastructure isn't set up for snow. There's also many days where the sun is out, the skies are blue, even in the winter months. Now, maybe I'm biased now, but in the Midwest, there were so many gray skies, so many gloomy days, you get that seasonal depression kicking in. And speaking of weather, I like to golf, and golf is actually open year-round, which is really nice out here. And to top it off, there's just a lot more pool days here, and because the weather is nice, that means there's a lot more pool days, a lot more beach days. Go out to Lake Norman, Lake Wiley, or even go to the coast and have a great time. Now, to be fair, there are some summer afternoons that it's pushing 90 degrees, 95 degrees, and the sun's out. They are tough when you get caught walking your dog or going to a restaurant, but even during those hot days, if you go out in the morning or the evening when the sun is gone, it's actually really nice out. Now, some people have complained about Charlotte being too humid. From my personal experience, it's not that different than Illinois' humidity. I've lived in Hilton Head Island, which is in South Carolina. That was incredibly humid compared to out here. All right, reason number 2, and that is going to be economy and growth. Coming from the Chicago area, we just did not have much growth in our area. The state of Illinois is very stale right now. Now, when we would go to the mall, we would always see vacancies. We would hardly see any new developments coming up. And we would always see businesses that are shutting down and failing. Now, funny enough, when you look at the statistics, Illinois and New York were the bottom 2 states declining in population, where they lost almost 1% of their total residents in 2022. Whereas Charlotte, on the other hand, is constantly booming, and there's over 100 people moving here each and every day. And when you decide to take a visit down here, you'll see all these new construction buildings, new homes that are constantly going up, new developments, new commercial buildings. There's so much growth going on in the city right now. Now, my fiance and I, we always liked the newer construction vibes in the city. We like that modern feel, and that's much better out here in the Charlotte area compared to Chicago, where it's much more older. And as far as jobs go, that is one of the things Chicago area did have, but Charlotte also has a great job market, especially banking, financing, health related. Reason number 3, and that is going to be meeting people and having things to do. Now, when it comes to Charlotte, there's so many popular areas to go out to for a night out with the friends. We have over 30 breweries in the city, and we like to go out to the Plaza Midwood and Noda area, or the occasional South End area if that's the vibe of the night. Now, the nice part about this is these popular going out areas are 10 minutes away from uptown to Charlotte. So you don't have to drive in the heart of the city in order to go out. That means parking is easier, you're not paying insane downtown prices to go out for a few drinks or food, unless you're in South End, though South End is a little pricey. But even if you're not going out in those popular areas, there are still a bunch of shopping centers around the city that have many things to do, many things to eat, many things to drink, get ice cream at, enjoy a little fountain. And when it comes to meeting people, it's so much easier in Charlotte, since over 50% of people in the last decade here are transplants. A lot of people are looking to make new friends. Now, my fiance uses a Facebook page called Girls in Queen City, I believe. And you basically meet up with other girls and couples who are looking to make some friends, go out to dinner, and that's how we met a few of our friends we have now. Now, side note, Charlotte is also a very dog-friendly city, so if there's an outdoor patio, odds are dogs are allowed, which is great. Reason number 4, and that is going to be the proximity. This one, again, is a personal experience of mine, but we lived in the northern suburbs of Chicago, and you could not do a road trip to much at all. Here in Charlotte, we are 3 hours away from the coast, so you can go to Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Charleston. You can go out to the beaches out there for 3.5 hour drives. Makes for a great weekend with the friends, or a great weekend bringing your dog. I actually just had a bachelor party in the Nashville area, and even that was only 6 hours away, which is not too awful for a far road trip like that. And we also have Lake Wiley and Lake Norman, which are both less than 20 to 30 minutes away from the city, depending on where you're located. These lakes are great for a night on the water or just walking the parks along the water. We also have mountains about an hour or two away, depending on where you want to go. Asheville is a big destination for a lot of people, and we're actually going to stay in a little tiny house in the Asheville area for our mini honeymoon, since it's also very close by, only 2.5 hours away. And speaking of proximity and traveling, there's also a Charlotte airport located in the West Charlotte area, which is not a bad drive at all depending on where you're coming from, and usually you just take 485 up. Now, some people bash on it and say it's slow. I have TSA pre-check. I'm always in and out in less than 15 to 30 minutes. I'm also comparing it to O'Hare Airport, which is one of the busiest airports, and that's in Chicago. All right, final reason, number 5, houses and taxes. This was a big reason we decided to move to Charlotte, leaving Illinois. It's because of the houses and taxes out here. Illinois had a ridiculous property tax rate at 2.95% in Lake County, and Mecklenburg just changed their property tax rate from around 1.05% to now being 0.7335% of the assessed value, bringing your taxes much further down. Now, house prices are higher than Illinois, but that's because of the monthly payment being so much lower on taxes. You're actually getting a lot more equity, paying less towards taxes. We are in our 20s, so we knew we needed to buy a home and benefit from the equity if we're going to move to a booming city. That's why we ended up buying a few months ago in the summer of 2023. Now, if we bought in Illinois, we would hardly see any appreciation over the next 10 years. Buying our first home in the South Charlotte area in Blakeney, I know we're going to make a ton of equity over the next 10 years with all the growth in the city. So yeah, there's our top 5 reasons why we decided to move to Charlotte, North Carolina. Hope that gave you some insight. And it's been a year and a half since we've been down here, and we've just loved every minute of it. We've made some great friends, great day-to-day routines. We love our life out here. We love the food out here. We love the accessibility of everything. Our first year, we started off in an apartment in the Arrowwood Station, which is next to the light rail, which brings you all the way to Uptown, South End, University. And we loved it at first because it was new construction. But as months and months went on, we started noticing that part of that area was still gentrifying, so there was pretty constant car break-ins. There's even some apartment break-ins, and it just made us question, is this really where we want to be? Which is why we ended up buying a house in the Blakeney area. Now where we live, there's 3 beautiful shopping centers, all less than 5 minutes away. It feeds into an amazing school district, so if we ever end up deciding to stay here longer when we have kids or when we rent it out, it will keep its value, keep its desire, and the equity is just going to keep going up. The only current downside to our neighborhood is most of the 20-year-olds live near South End, Plaza Midwood, or Noda area. A lot of them are renting, so we live next to a bunch of older adults, but that's okay because that will be us when we have kids, and it's going to be really nice then. But right now in the short term, I do miss a little bit of the Plaza Midwood, South End area. But then again, we're only 25-30 minute drive away. But yeah, overall, we love it here. We're happy with our choice. We don't have any regrets. I hope this helps your decision if you're on the fence. If you are interested in making the move down here or have any questions at all, give me a call, text, or email, and I'd be happy to help you out with any questions you might have. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe for any neighborhood tours I'll be doing in the future.